Hello folks, welcome to another playthrough video. Today I'm going to be playing through Escape the Zone, which is a solo adventure game in a setting a little bit different to some of the other games I play on this channel. I am the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon this video. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, consider liking and subscribing. Now, I have played this game before, and I will put a link in the description below to my original playthrough, as I probably spend a bit more time going over the mechanics and stuff. However, my first playthrough wasn't very successful in terms of my character not dying really quickly, and I said at the time that I would try and do a second playthrough, and I've finally gotten around to it. So here we are, giving the game another go. And it's also an opportunity to showcase the zine. In the first playthrough, I didn't have my hands on the actual physical product. Martin enjoyed my playthrough, I think, so he very kindly sent me this in the post. So I've now got the actual physical zine that I can play with, which is much nicer, so you can have a more pleasant viewing experience as a result. The Visitation, Zones and Artifacts. 20 years ago, an alien life form landed on Earth. We call this event the Visitation. Nobody saw the visitors arrive or leave. The only traces of their passage are 6 different locations around the Earth called Visitation Zones. Many residents of nearby areas became blind and deaf as a result of noises louder than anything conceivable. Others were stricken by a strange plague that transformed them into shells of their former selves. Soon, deadly phenomena started to manifest inside the visitation zones, where the laws of physics no longer applied. These phenomena are known as anomalies. Strange objects infused with otherworldly properties started to appear inside the zones. Their purpose remains mostly incomprehensible to humans. Some grant their owners powers bordering on the supernatural. Some are so deadly that even touching them or being in their presence could shatter a person's mind or disintegrate their body. These objects of immeasurable value are called artifacts. The visitation zones are extremely deadly to all life forms, contain space-time anomalies and random locations capable of killing anyone by fire, lightning, gravity, or other bizarre paradoxes. Even worse, the perimeter of each zone seems to be expanding after mighty radiation storms called emissions. Anyone caught outside during these events is cooked alive or simply vaporized. Scientists, military forces, religious cults and private collectors from all over the world are desperate to get their hands on artifacts. Officials of the visited countries fear that some artifacts may contain enough power to unleash terrible calamities or even destroy the world. Security perimeters were erected around the zones. Armed soldiers guard them to prevent unauthorized visitors from entering. Those guards are allowed to arrest or kill any trespassers. Specialized mercenaries are the only ones willing to risk their lives to illegally recover artifacts from the zone in exchange for a huge profit. These mercenaries are called Stalkers. You are one of them. Alright, so we are a Stalker who has regained consciousness inside the zone, and we don't remember who we are, what we were doing. All we remember is that we're a stalker and that we're out on a job. And so the aim of the game is to make it out alive, and I think to recall our memories. So the aim is to collect clues, which will clues towards our memories, to sort of patch together our memories of where we are and what we were doing. And once we have collected 6 clues, then we will be able to face the final encounter, hopefully defeat that big boss, whatever that may be, and thusly be successful in our attempt to escape the zone. So in this game we're going to be playing through a series of locations. In those locations we will be rolling on event tables and encountering various challenges in our efforts to find clues, progress towards the final encounter, and successfully escape the zone. Here we go. So we need to distribute 2 skill points among the 3 available skills. So that is tough. I mean, see, we've got muscles, we've got nerves, and we've got brains, and we can only distribute 2 skill points between those 3. So muscles is for close combat checks, modifies damage dealt with your bare hands on melee weapons. Nerves is used for ranged attacks. Brains is used for resolving social encounters, resisting fear, and dealing with anomalies. It sounds to me like brains is pretty important. So I'm going to put 1 in brains, and I think I'll put the other 1 in muscles, and then hope that if I find a ranged weapon, that just works out for me. I think that might be a sensible approach. We start with 20 vitality points, and we start between 1 to 3 luck points. So we're going to roll 1d6. Probably don't need this many d6s. Let's get rid of some of those. Run 1d6 and divide by 2. So we're going to end up with the maximum number of luck points. So I guess we do 3 out of 3. So we've used none of them so far. We need a name. Desperately looking around my table to see if something will give me a name. The only thing I can find is this recently printed version of Death Valley, which is a button shy game, and the name of the designer is Kevin Ellenberg, so why not have Kevin? I think the chances of Kevin watching this playthrough are pretty remote, but there you go. That's for all the Kevins out there. You probably don't get a lot of characters named after you. And we need some starting items, so we're going to roll 2d6 twice, or choose 2 items for an easier game. Now, I died rather painfully in the last game. I'm going to do this randomly, and then we'll talk about how we're going to make this playthrough a little bit easier, because I am going to make an adjustment, or maybe 2, to make this game a little bit easier. 5, smoke grenade. Okay, so we've got a smoke grenade. Do we put that under weapons? Oh, it's not. Range weapon. Automatically succeed a single fleeing check. Must be used before the start of the fight. So it doesn't feel too weapony because it's not doing damage, but I've written it down now, so that's fine. So that allows us to leg it from a fight. That's pretty handy. 7, meals ready to eat. MRE. 3 uses. Each portion restores 3 vitality points. That is useful. There you go, so I've given myself 3 dots so I can cross those off as we use them. When we need a specialisation, do I pick the specialisation? I guess I do. Choose a specialisation, yes you do. So we can be a soldier, a tracker, a scientist, or a mystic. I think I'm going to be a soldier again, am I? No, I'm going to be a scientist. Let's get brainy. So that's going to give me +1 brains. We start with a pistol, which is a ranged weapon that does 2 damage plus nerves. So 2 plus nerves damage. And that will have 1d6 ammo. So we've got a separate ammo thing. I think ammo is just across all weapons, so you don't track ammo separately for each weapon. So let's see how much ammo we get with our pistol. 1. And we also get a knife, melee weapon. 2 damage plus muzzles. Oh, and I get some more MREs, 3 uses. So I've got 6 MREs. That's going to be very, very handy. Alright, so I think we're just going to get straight into it. You remember nothing prior to that sensation of being sucked to the bottom of a gravity well, or falling to the ground with vertiginous velocity. You woke up standing in your boots, in the mud, in your stalker get-up, grasping your weapon. At first, your surroundings were in total darkness. You looked up just in time to see the shape of a gigantic black bird dissipating like smoke in the sky. As it flew away, light started to shine through, revealing the familiar sight of the exclusion zone. Test your brains. If you succeed, gain a clue. If you get a total success, also collect 1 luck point. Alright, so this is our first test. It's good that we've got a test right in the start because it means I have to remember how to do tests. So when you try to accomplish an action, you roll 2d6 and add the skill modifier. 8 plus is a success, 12 plus is a total success. So we are doing a brains test. That's good because brains is my strong point in the game as well as in life. Here. If you succeed, gain a clue. So we're going to roll 2 dice, we're going to add 2 and hopefully get 8 or more. 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. So it's not a total success, for which we would need 12, but it is enough to gain a clue. So we have gained our first clue, and we need 6 to complete the game. So that is our first clue, so that's a good start. And then we're into location 1, and that's probably a good opportunity to talk about how I'm going to make the game a little bit less tricky. So Martin has released this sheet which gives a range of different options as to how the game can be made a little easier if you're finding it too difficult. And I think the problem I was having, as I recall, was mainly combat being too deadly. Each round of combat, regardless of what I was doing, I was still taking damage. So I think I'm going to go for this bit here. If you find combat too deadly, you can lower the target number for a total success from 12 to 10, because you have to have a total success in order to not take damage. So hopefully that will mean there's some rounds where we don't take damage. That's what we're going to do. I think I'll leave it at that, to be honest. I think that's the only change I'm going to make. We're going to keep it simple and hope for the best. So location 1 is the forest. You find yourself in a dense forest of pine, spruce and cedar trees. The ground is covered in thick, sticky sludge. It's eerily quiet. The only notable sounds are your breathing and your footsteps. Gusts of freezing wind make your teeth chatter uncontrollably. Test your muscles. On a failure, lose 3 vitality points. If you get a total success, gain 1 luck point. Alright, so I've got a +1 on muscles. 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is a success, so we don't lose the vitality points. Each event roll has a symbol next to it for easy reference. Below is an explanation. So we've got enemies, anomalies, clues, encounters and loot. So we're rolling 1d6 to see what event we have. Now my understanding is that as soon as you've done one event, you can theoretically move on to the next location. Yes, but you may have multiple encounters if you wish to gain more loot, clues or get better equipment before the final showdown. You can seize weapons from enemies you kill. Alright, here we go. 4. Ooh, so we've got our first anomaly. Burnt fuzz. You notice strange dark vines growing on almost every surface around you. They seem to react as you walk past by and start spitting dangerous projectiles in your direction. Test your nerves or suffer 6 damage. 6! If you succeed, gain 1 point of swag. If you roll a total success, also gain a clue or a luck point. So my nerves is my worst 1. I've got nothing to add on, but I could do an early luck point use. What do luck points do again? Do they allow re-rolls? Oh no, you add an extra d6 to your total. So we have to make the decision before we do the roll. So do I want to add an extra dice to my roll? Well, 6 points of damage does sound rather insane, but I've got all my MREs, haven't I? Okay, let's just do a normal roll. Here we go. 5. That is a fail. Okay. Alright, so I fail. The projectiles from the burnt fuzz rip through my arm or something, and I go down to 14 vitality points. Now I think you can only encounter each event once. Yeah, you re-roll if you roll the same thing again. Okay, so let's try for another event. 5. Loot. That's more like it. Shallow grave. Along the dirt path you see a crude wooden cross planted on top of a dirt mound. Upon further inspection you notice a heart-shaped pendant on a chain hanging from a makeshift cross. Gain a lucky trinket. Single use. Re-roll any failed dice roll. Okay, that's handy. Are we going to attempt one more at this location before we move on? No, let's move on. Well, I haven't got a clue yet. I feel like moving on without clues. How many locations are there? Let me just have a little look. So there's 5 locations. We're going to have one more roll in location 1. 5 we've done already. 3 is another anomaly. Fruit punch. You come across a puddle of bubbling and hissing green goo. Extremely acidic. Will dissolve anything it touches. Test your brains. If you fail, you can either sacrifice a weapon, piece of armour, or suffer damage. If you succeed, some swag. And if you do a total success, maybe a clue or a luck point. Brains is good. We get to add on 2. Maybe I'll push for a luck point here. Not for a luck point, sorry. Maybe I will push for a total success and use one of my luck points. Pretty early on, but I'm going to give it a go. Remember, we're aiming for 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is a total success. So we get 1 point of swag and we get a clue or a luck point. Obviously I'm going to go for a clue, taking us to 2 clues. Now swag has got is low level artifacts that you can find in the zone that have a sort of monetary value. So 1 point of swag is worth 1d6 times $1,000. Whoa, $6,000. Is there a swag section? I guess that's the cash section. Swag is converted into cash, so we've got some swag that's worth 6,000 cash. That's good because if you're doing multiple playthroughs in the zone, you're aiming for 20k's worth of cash in order to have the opportunity to succeed and retire. Anywho, that was good. I think we'll be pushing on to location 2. Emerging from the woods, the muddy path leads you to a large swamp. Noxious gases, dead trees, puddles of murky water and clouds of disgusting flies populate the area. Everything here smells like decomposition and disease. Test your muscles unless you're wearing a gas mask. If you fail, lose 2 victory points as you fight to keep the content of your stomach inside. So this is a muscles test. We've got +1. Oh, that's a fail. Okay, so we're losing, what was it, 2? I keep thinking victory points. 2 vitality points, taking me down to 12. Maybe I should just use a couple of my MREs. So we'll use a couple of those to take us up 6, back up to 18. A thick fog slows your progression and makes it hard to see far ahead. Roll with disadvantage for your range attack checks unless you have a light source or night vision goggles, which we do not. Alright, let's find out what fun location event we're going to have in the swamp. 3. Another anomaly, very anomaly heavy here. A vortex. Make a brains check to notice a spot where pebbles, leaves and other debris float slightly above ground and seem to be swirling. If you fail, you get caught in the vortex, suffer 6 damage. If you succeed, get some swag. Total success means either a clue or a luck point. And brains, we've got +2. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a success, but not a total success. It was a little disappointing. 1 point of swag with a value of 4,000. Doing pretty good on swag. Up to 10 grand's worth of swag. Alright, but at least we didn't get caught in the vortex. Onwards into the swamp. 6. An encounter with a wounded stalker. Groans and raspy breathing are coming from behind dead trees. You carefully walk towards the sounds to discover a stalker lying on his back in a pool of congealing blood. He has gruesome burn marks on his face and body. More disturbing, his legs are like empty sausage skins that had their filling taken out. That is gross. Ew. He's gesturing towards his backpack. You find a health kit inside. Single use, heals 6 VP, cures poison, as well as a broken two-way radio. You can either keep the health kit for yourself and let him die, or use it to heal him. If you choose to help him, he offers you 1d6 bullets, a grenade, and his vodka flask as a token of gratitude. If you roll a total success, you get all of the provision items as well as a luck point. Where am I rolling? I'm a bit confused there because it doesn't seem to instruct me to do a roll. I do recall it saying brains are used for resolving social encounters. So this is definitely a social encounter. That feels very generous to me, almost too generous. I'm going to say that we have to do a brains roll. If we succeed, well, basically I am going to help him. So I'm going to give him the health kit. Then I'm going to do a brains roll for this social encounter. If I succeed, I get those items. If I roll a total success, I get the items as well as a luck point. Ooh, that's a fail, isn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7. That is disappointing. Do you know what? I really want those items. I'm going to use my lucky trinket to re-roll one dice roll, which is going to be this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is just about a success. Oh, that's some unlucky rolling. So I'm going to get those items. So I get 1d6 bullets, which is good because I have no bullets. 2. A grenade. Auto kill 1d6 enemies. That's pretty powerful. I guess I still have to do a nerves roll to do the ranged attack. And we get vodka, which heals 3 victory points, which is the same as an MRE. So we'll treat the vodka as an MRE. Okay, so we helped the guy out. We got some stuff in return, not to be sniffed at. We're still at 2 clues. Let's have one more encounter here before we move on. I feel like we should eventually have a combat encounter, even if it is going to be nasty. Oh, okay, there you go. Spider toad. As you progress with much effort through the muddy swamp, you come face to face with a mutated toad, almost as tall as a horse. The grotesque creature is mounted on spider legs, has a gaping maw full of fangs and 4 pairs of glowing red eyes. The slimy monstrosity croaks loudly, and its venom-covered tongue lashes out at you like a whip. Okay, so we've got standard combat here. The spider toad has 10 vitality points and does 3 damage, and also a special which is poison. If you are wounded by the spider toad, test your muscles skill. If you fail, you are poisoned. Your character can't regain vitality points until they consume an antidote. That sounds disastrous, and knowing how easy it is to get wounded in this game might be the beginning of the end. So just need to have a quick reminder. Okay, so let's do a ranged attack. Yeah, let's definitely do a ranged attack, probably using my pistol. And remember, we are doing total successes on 10 rather than 12. That's the deal. Deduct 1 point of ammo. Okay, so we're going to do a roll with nerves modifier. We haven't got a nerves modifier. I mean, that was only ever going to be a 2, wasn't it? Or a 1. So that's a fail. You miss, suffer no damage. Okay, so we don't suffer any damage. That's a shame. All right, so we're going to be doing standard combat. I'm going to be attacking with my knife, which is 2 plus muscles modifier. I've got a 1 on muscles, so we're going to be adding 3 onto this. Success on 8, total success on 10. Come on, that's some appalling rolling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a fail. You inflict no damage, and the enemy inflicts its full damage on you. Oh, I see. Right. So we don't roll. We don't roll for the enemy. We just roll. That is the combat round roll. So we're taking full damage. 3 points of damage, which takes me down to 15. And then we've got to do the poison check. So we've got to do a muscles check. If we fail, we are poisoned. 5, 6, 7. Of course we're poisoned, obviously. So I need to record that somewhere. I guess I'll just write it over here. So until we find an antidote to the spider toad poison, we can't regain our vitality points. Rubbish. Let's do another attack. Surely our luck has to change here. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is a standard success. How much damage do we do? Full damage, but we also suffer some damage. What is the damage? Oh, I did it wrong, didn't I? Okay. So sorry, I didn't need to add that on. We're just adding on the muscles modifier. Apologies. So what we have to do for the combat is roll 2d6, add on the muscles modifier. That obviously the 2 plus muscles is the damage. It's not added on to the attack roll. But either way, well, not either way, that means that is another failed attack, which means we're taking 3 points of damage, taking me down to 12. I'm starting to think I should try and run away, because I haven't done any damage to this bloody toad yet. How do we run away? Presumably there's a chance. Okay, so we roll 2d6, add nerves. 2 to 7 is a failure. We take full damage and can't flee. On a success we flee but take some damage. On a total success we flee without taking damage. I think I'm going to have to try and flee, because this is just going to keep on getting worse. Here we go. Okay, thank goodness for that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus nerves, which is nothing, which means it's a success, but it's not a total success, which we're doing on 10s during combat. So I'm taking half damage. So I am taking 2 damage, which means we're down to 10 health. Well, that wasn't a fun encounter at all. So we're now poisoned, which means we can't regain health until we find an antidote. Goodness knows where we're going to find an antidote. And we're on half health. Should I just limp on to location 3? I think that's what I'm going to do, and hope that it works out a little bit better. Man, oh man. So this is the mud field. Mud, mud, and more mud. As if that wasn't depressing enough, a flash flood erupts. You soon find yourself soaked to the bones, and so is all your gear. You must use extreme caution not to slip in the wet mud. This makes it... And I forgot that I was supposed to be... In the previous location, I was supposed to be using disadvantage for range attacks. Okay, well I lost my range attack anyway, didn't I? So, whatever. Okay, so back to the mud field. Makes it very difficult to notice the presence of nearby anomalies. All tests made against anomalies are made with disadvantage. 5. Encounter. Flesh caught in a trap. A massive mutated pig covered with tumours as big as fists. Pretty gross. Seems to have one of its legs caught in a bear trap. You've met many of these creatures before. Stalkers call them flesh. If you fancy a snack, you can slaughter the agonizing beast and slice yourself a few steaks to roast on a campfire later. Yum, yum, yum. Lovely tumoured pig. If you choose to do so, add 3 rations to your inventory. Every time you eat a piece of it, roll 1d6. On a 1 it's spoilt, you lose some vitality points. On another result it's surprisingly tasty and you regain some. Whether you're feeling merciful or not, you can attempt to free its mutated leg from the trap by testing your muscles. If you succeed, you can add bear trap to your belongings. And a total success means gain 1 luck point. Okay, so I guess it's leaving it in the trap, slaughtering it, or releasing it and hopefully gaining some stuff. So at this point, a luck point is probably more beneficial to me than some mutated pig steaks, because I've got a whole bunch of MREs. I just can't use them because of my poisoned effect. So let's do that. We will try and release the pig by testing muscles. Here we go. 6, 7, that's a fail. I do feel like I'm not having much in the way of success with my rolls, but we failed to release the pig. I suppose now that I've failed to release it, I can still kill it. Like, I tried to get close, but the pig was thrashing around. I tried to release it, but I failed to do so. I'm gonna, yeah, okay, fine. 3 pig rations. Okay, come on, let's have something better than that. 3. Blood magnet. A small glass disc hovering in front of you at face level starts sucking all the blood out of your body. As if you were a sponge being squeezed dry. Test your brains to get out of the way or take 6 damage. If you succeed, gain swag. Total success, gain either a clue or a luck point. I'm going to lose. Am I going to use a luck point? I'm not going to use a luck point. Surely my luck is going to change in terms of the dice rolls. So this is a brains roll. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 means a success, but not a total success. Man, it's hard to get those luck points, those clues rather. Hard to get the clues. Alright, so we've got some more swag, 6 grand worth of swag. So that takes me up to 16,000 swag, which is nice. 16,000 cash rather, which is the monetary value of the swag. But that doesn't really have any in-game effect as far as I'm aware. Are we going to have another encounter or are we going to move on? I mean, there isn't any loot symbols here, so I'm not going to read the other encounter too closely. We're just going to move on to location 4. Old Barn. You have survived enough emissions to recognise the signs. Skies suddenly turning black, deafening thunder, sickly green mist and escalating earthquakes. You start running frantically in search of shelter. Getting stuck outside during an emission is one of the worst ways to die. That you remember. It's pretty much what Stalker's nightmares are made of. Luckily you see an old barn in the distance. You sprint like you've never sprinted before, death breathing down your neck. You don't stop until you reach the barn. Its wooden doors are locked behind a rusted chain and a padlock. Test your muscles to kick the door in, or your nerves to pick the lock. If you roll a total success, gain a clue or a luck point. If you fail, you're caught in the emissions blowout, suffer 10 damage. That would kill me. Yep, that would kill me. If you somehow manage to survive it, continue to location 5. So we're going to be rolling a muscles check, because we have +1 on muscles to kick the door in. Should we be using a luck point? I feel like I should be using a luck point, otherwise I'm going to die, aren't I? We use a luck point. Here we go. Ooh, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a total success. Hey, that's good. That means I managed to get into the barn and I gain a clue. Here we go. What lovely, lovely stuff is in the barn for me? 2. An enemy. Nerve ghost. If you're carrying a light source or wearing night vision goggles, you spot a weird apparition. I do not have those things. Floating in your direction across the barn. If you're in the dark, you're caught by surprise. Take 3 damage. taking me down to 7. What seems at first a web of brownish red strings or wires vaguely resembling a human shape soon reveals itself to be an entire nervous system suspended in the air. You quickly snap out of it as it tries to whip the flesh off your body. Okay, a nerve ghost, 8 vitality points, does 3 damage. Special, evanescent. You can't use ranged weapons against the nerve ghost. Oh no. Close combat attacks are made with disadvantage if you don't have a light source. What a disaster. So disadvantage, roll 3d6 instead of 2d6, keeping the lower 2 results. Okay, so we're going to do an attack roll. We can't do a ranged attack, so we're going straight in. Our standard attack. Do I use my final luck point, or is that a bad idea? Don't think there's anything else that I can do. Handy to have a light source, it turns out. Here we go. I've got to roll 3 dice and use the worst one. 7 for 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's a fail, isn't it? That's a fail. So we're going to take 3 damage points. Have I actually successfully hit anything yet? In terms of combat, this might be my least successful playthrough of anything ever. Alright, okay. Have another go. Oh, that's better, isn't it? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is at least a success. But we're going to take half damage, rounded up. So we take 2 damage. Oh man, so I'm down to 2 health. And how much damage are we doing? 2 plus muscles, so that's 3. How much health does it have? 8. Okay, so that takes it down to 5 health. Ridiculous. Here we go. Rolling with disadvantage, fighting the nerve ghost in the barn without a light, having been poisoned by the spider toad thing. This might be the last roll of the game. Oh well. And we got to lose the best dice, so we've rolled 2, which means we take full damage, taking me down to 0 vitality points. And what a terrifying way to go. So our stalker Kevin does not make it out of the zone. He does not escape the zone on this occasion, or ever again. And I guess his corpse is left in that barn to be consumed by whatever weird beasts are in there with him. Never mind, at least we got a little bit further into the adventure compared to the last playthrough. It's a brutal game, but that's alright. I don't mind playing brutal games from time to time. Thanks very much for joining me on this adventure, folks. If you enjoyed this playthrough, I'll pop a link at the end of this video to Martin's other games, Into the Zone and Sandworm. Sandworm is a game that features a map drawn by me, so do check that out if you haven't seen that playthrough yet. Hope you enjoyed this one though, folks, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.